Yes, yes, they should join at 10 o'clock. And if they don't join on time, we will just share the recorded video with them next time.
Okay.
All right.
Welcome to the 11th session of the Interministerial Press Conference, coordinated by the Ministry of Information and Communication Infrastructure. And today we start with the Ministry of Agriculture on the provision of certified seeds to farmers across the country at the beginning of the 2020 rainy season. The Ministry of Agriculture has noted that crops in most parts of the Gambia will reach harvestable maturity, especially in regions that benefited from free distribution of certified seeds, with farmers expected to reap near bumper harvest. It could be recalled that the Ministry of Agriculture, through the National Seed Secretariat at the beginning of the 2020 rainy season, had distributed 310 metric tons of rice seeds from registered certified seed producers from the Central River region. These rice seeds were procured by the government of the Gambia and distributed to the farming communities across the country through the Department of Agriculture. The NEMA project also procured 142 metric tons of assorted seeds certified by the National Seeds Secretariat to farmers as COVID-19 support. The following certified seeds and quantities were distributed across the country in addition to the rice seeds to farmers, which are now at near harvestable stage. For groundnut, 132 metric tons was distributed to farmers free, maize, 36 metric tons, cowpea, 9 metric tons, rice, 76 metric tons, and findi, 518 kilograms. Ministry of Fisheries, Water Resources, and National Assembly matters, and this one pertains to rural water supply. The Department of Water Resources under the Ministry of Fisheries, Water Resources, and the National Assembly matters is currently implementing two projects as part of efforts to achieve universal and equitable access to safe and affordable drinking water. These projects include the Climate Smart Rural Works Development Project, funded by the African Development Bank Group to the tune of $40 million, and the just-ended Saudi Sahelian Project Phase 5, funded by the Saudi Fund for Development SDF to the tune of $3.5 million. The aim of both projects is to provide access to safe and quality drinking water to the rural populace. The Climate Smart Works Development Project would provide 144 solar-powered water supply systems to 276 communities in 5 administrative regions of the Gambia. The project will also enable more than 400,000 people in rural areas to have access to safe and quality drinking water. Already, the just-ended Saudi Sahelian Project Phase 5 provided 27 solar-powered water supply systems to 47 rural communities in 5 administrative regions of the Gambia, and these water facilities were already handed over to the beneficiaries in early 2020, directly benefiting more than 50,000 people. The fisheries sector, as part of its objectives to rationally generate revenue for the state in the form of both local and foreign currencies, has from 2017 to date generated a total of $316 million, $915, 885.26 butut. The sources of revenue, according to the Ministry of Fisheries, Water Resources, and National Assembly matters, include 10% fish landings by vessels that could not land catches in Banjul due to landing facility constraints, that is inadequate landing and jetty facility, fishing license fees imposed on arrested fishing vessels, and partnership agreements, notably the EU Sustainable Partnership Agreement and Senegalo-Gambia Fishing Agreement. The Ministry of Health, and this is on the strengthening of the healthcare service delivery in the face of COVID-19 in the Gambia. The World Bank Board of Executive Directors have approved a $30 million grant from the International Development Association IDA to improve the quality and utilization of essential health services in the Gambia. The Essential Health Services Strengthening Project will provide performance-based financing grants, health facilities, scale up community engagement to improve utilization of quality health services, and build resilient and sustainable health systems to support the delivery of quality health services. This will include the renovation of selected health facilities and the establishment of a national blood transfusion service. This project will build on the success of the Maternal and Child Nutrition and Health Results Project and the ongoing COVID-19 Preparedness and Response Project to improve access and use of primary healthcare services for all in the Gambia. In the long term, the project is expected to help reduce maternal and child mortality, therefore contributing to the improvement of the Gambia's Human Capital Index. The Ministry of Trade, Regional Integration and Employment. The Ministry of Trade, Regional Integration and Employment is developing the National Regional Integration Policy and Strategy to pave a clear direction of the Gambia in harnessing the much-needed benefits of her membership in the regional and sub-regional organizations. Following the joint Presidential Council meeting between the Gambia and Senegal, the Ministry of Trade, Regional Integration and Employment, in collaboration with the Ministry of Works, Transport and Infrastructure, is working on popularizing the cross-border transport agreement aimed at widening market access for operators in the transport subsector. To better promote regional integration agenda through cross-border cooperation and data collection, the Ministry of Trade, Regional Integration and Employment continues to provide support in the form of materials and equipment to border authorities and other stakeholders in the promotion of the ECOWAS Free Movement Protocol. The Ministry of Tourism and Culture, and this is in relation to the Pastry and Bread Production Center for Gambia Tourism and Hospitality Institute, GTHI. The Gambia Tourism and Hospitality Institute, GTHI, under the Ministry of Tourism and Culture, is on the verge of constructing the first ever pastry and bread production center at the GTHI main campus in Kanifing. The $2 million standardized production center, which is funded by the government of the Gambia, will enhance the Gambia Tourism and Hospitality Institute's teaching capacity in the area of pastry and bread production using local ingredients such as millet and corn. This project, which is funded to be completed and officially commissioned before the end of December 2020, will further help close the skill gap in pastry and bread production, as well as improve linkages in the agriculture sector. The Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, and this one is on the 2020 Gambia Basic Certificate Examination GABES results. The Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education on Tuesday, 13th October 2020, released the results of the 2020 Gambia Basic Education Certificate Examination. The total number of candidates who entered for the examination was 23,039 students, out of which 10,083 were males and 12,956 were females. A total of 26 candidates scored aggregate 6 this year compared to 21 in 2019, and that students have done remarkably well in all the core subject areas this year compared to last year, except for mathematics. However, for the first time, 6 candidates scored 1 in all their 9 subjects. The underperformance of students in mathematics is not only peculiar to the Gambia, but across the West Africa Examination Council-wide member states. Overall, more students in 2020 have passed the Gambia Basic Education Certificate Examination than ever before in this country. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable. So, Africa, hello, are you online? Yeah,
All
so
right.
you can go ahead and ask your questions.
So let us all endeavor to be on time.
Be on time, yes.
Yeah. Yes, I'm getting you. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Okay. Let me start with the tourism and your question on the complaint of some of the beneficiaries. Um, yes, I have also had this in the media, so I will liaise with the Gambia Tourism Authority through the Minister of Tourism to provide me with the right answers. But one of the things that I had the ministry's officials were saying is that in addition to the payment of your current taxes, for especially for the musicians, you also have to be a registered member of with the Gambia National Council for Arts and Culture. So it could be that some of those that were complaining have either not paid their current taxes or they are not registered with the National Council for Arts and Culture. What we can find out exactly what are some of these issues and then get back to you. Now, regarding the foreign students, I just want to read for you a statement that I also received from the Ministry of Higher Education in a form of a press release, which is also, published by both Foroya and the standard newspapers. And it reads that the Ministry of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology wishes to reiterate that at the level of the ministry, payments amounting to $32,915,880 is meant to serve as a stimulus package for non-government funded Gambian students studying abroad have already been affected or effected. These payments were done in two different phases. The initial one, which was $12,915,000 $880 was paid on the 5th of May, 2020, and was given to 836 Gambian students. And immediately upon approval of the appropriation bill by the National Assembly, the Ministry of Higher Education also made a second round of payment of $20 million to 1,243 Gambian students. Likewise, payments for government-funded Gambian students have also been made. So this is what the Ministry of Higher Education is saying, but they are also saying that those Gambian students who are yet to receive their shares from the stimulus package should contact and make follow-ups with the Gambian embassies in their respective countries of study. So this is the update that we got, and we have seen it published also in the local newspapers.
So, what of other areas who didn't receive their share yet?
Well, I know for us, I mean, I don't know those who have not received their shares for the COVID-19 support, but the tourism, they have started. The Ministry of Higher Education, you've heard what I have read, and also the Ministry of Information. For us, the funds, the account has already been opened now. The committee has been set up. They start and they finalize, and hopefully from next week onwards, we should see that the beneficiaries get their money. We on our part, we were not able to pay quickly because we wanted to have a stakeholder buy-in, where the stakeholders themselves, the beneficiaries themselves, which is the media houses, will come up with their own criteria in terms of qualification. To benefit from this fund, but also, I mean, the mechanisms, how are they going to be paid and stuff like that. Now that we have finalized those things, we hope that the payments will be quick, and then also timely.
During the course of the week, we've seen to read that government have released two statements easing COVID-19 restriction. Bear in mind that this is affecting, or COVID-19, some part of the world are currently witnessing the second wave.
Yeah.
How so was the government before taking some of these decisions that up till that the country could still have some COVID-19 unconfirmed cases, which if it erupt, it could it could cause another catastrophic.
We are acting within the context of ECOWAS and AU. All throughout the region, I mean, countries are opening up. I mean, cautious. I mean, opening. You don't just open. We didn't just open just like that. We started easing, and then through advice from the relevant authorities, especially from the Ministry of Health, whose mandate is to advise government on some of these policy issues. We eased slowly until we get to where we are right now. But that notwithstanding, I mean, the Ministry of Health is advising everyone to remain cautious and to remain, alive to the fact that COVID is still here. It is not eliminated. The disease is still in this country and around the world, and that we should continue to abide by the protocols, especially on wearing face masks, also social distancing, because right now we are looking forward to the opening of the tourist season. And what we want is the season to continue. And that can only happen when we continue to abide by the protocols and ensure that we respect those protocols so that we don't see a surge again. And that will also require a lot of collaboration and cooperation from the public. And we urge the media also to be part of this grand, agenda for public to be fully sensitized, to continue to adhere to some of these rules so that together we can have, COVID at its minimal peak in this country.
Finally, from my end as of now, uh, you've said the issue of wearing face masks among others. What is the government uh, view on people abiding with the COVID-19 restrictions, with the COVID-19 preventive measures? What's the government own position on it? Are people abiding by or not? If they are not, what still now we know that there are mechanisms in place to uh, brought the ones who eventually are not doing as expected, like bringing them to face the full force of the law. What is the government doing on that? Because many accuse the government as good when it comes to uh, conceptualizing ideas or whatever, but when it comes to implementation, they often give deaf ear to it. Because, for instance, schools have been open as of earlier this week. iAfrica TV visited some schools. We've seen to read that less than 1% of certain schools, students are the ones wearing face masks. You visit some schools, even was sanitary items in terms of washing hand are not in place. What is the government doing in relation to some of those things?
Well, I want to say that the wearing of face mask should be seen as a priority for every Gambian, especially parents who are sending their children to crowded schools right now. That is important because the health of everyone should be not only the priority of the government, but everyone else in this country. Now, the issue of enforcement. Actually, in situations like this, you don't just want to be jumping on people and then try to punish them for something that they can be fully sensitized. And I think a lot of sensitization has been done already. And we need the collaboration of our own public, knowing very well that this is very deadly virus. So people should actually understand and work with the government and health authorities in particular to see that some of the basic things like putting on a mask are fully complied with. Yes, there are other measures that can be used to ensure that the laws are fully respected. But as we always say, it should not get to that level where the government will have to use, force or whatever to encourage people to protect themselves against something that can have a devastating consequence on their lives and on their health. Now, regarding the issue of provision of some of these sanitary materials in schools, it could be because I have not gone around the country to see what is the situation. But what I do know is that the Ministry of Basic Education since last week had been working with school authorities to ensure that some of the basic facilities like thermometers and wash, detergents and also buckets are made available to schools. If there are certain schools that are yet to receive this, hopefully because they are the distribution groups have still not reached those schools, but it is a priority that all schools are provided with some of these basic facilities. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Honorable. and Africa and all other journalists. I think we can end the meeting for today.
Okay.